Is there more soldiers on the other side of that EMA? Did they go pick up new soldiers? Because, you know, now that it's weak, to kind of give y'all a little background, right? I love trading. I've done trading for a long period of time, and oh, come on, 4:30. Come on. Let's go. Hey, what's going on? Good morning, happy new year, and all that good stuff. You already know the album is out. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and the bell button. The album is out yet. Go ahead and go to all your streaming platforms. Go get yourself a copy. I know we don't buy albums anymore nowadays, but you know what? At the very least, I just wanted something for myself. It was done in the most selfish way possible because it's just me talking to me, so you know, might learn something from a trader's perspective. That said, I am your boy JD the Great. Go ahead and hit that like, subscribe, and the bell button. Share it to your friends and family because I'm going to be dropping a lot of gems when it's all said and done. As you notice, I got Microsoft up on the screen, and I didn't even notice we had a little bit of a gap that was right there that we kind of gapped up from Liberation Day, and I had a lot of questions for this. So let's go ahead and get this side by side so we can get this looking really, really great. And of course, got to go ahead and keep the album up. Don't forget, go get the album. Get it now. No, I'm joking. All right, so first, at the end of the day, the market does look like this, but I want to talk about the dollar. Let's talk about the dollar. The dollar has been getting itself beat up quite a bit, and we're talking about 4 months, right? And when we don't have a strong dollar, we don't get these pullbacks that we normally would get. For example, this was 2021. As we recovered, we made the dollar drop with low interest rates. We built a base, and as soon as the market went ahead and opened for the new year in 2022, plus the war in with Ukraine, it made a massive little drop to the downside. We built the base for a little bit, but we failed to hold that. And you could see this what helped our 2024 run up. So I have a lot of questions on, are we going to break all the way back here for 2022? We haven't been back to these levels in quite a bit of time. So I'm very curious on that. I also have a little bit of curiosity on how we consolidate here, because it looked like we're going to have months of consolidation as the market tries to decide, are we going to go ahead and let the dollar strengthen? Again, a stronger dollar means for a weaker and everything else. We're talking about commodities, we're talking about equities, all of that stuff as well. So just keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and look at gold, which is a counteract for the US dollar. We peaked out at 2,500, which was a very, very strong move because you can see this blow off top over here at 43 is kind of giving signs that blow off tops are showing as people are taking their profits. A perfect example of that is these blow off tops here, even though we recovered, and then we got a couple more like blow off tops, right? This one was a nice low extension, but again, we're talking about 2022 to 2023, and that's why we got this nice low recovery. So looking at gold and its position now, there's a couple of question marks I have for it, and I want to see what it does to the US dollar. If this starts to drop, I would say even down to this level or even this level, that's when we're going to go ahead and see strength in the US dollar. And I would say it might trigger a recession. I know the R word, the word that y'all don't want to hear. All right, so let's go ahead and look at a couple of alerts that came in. I took a trade today. If you want to go ahead and sign up, go ahead and click down below. Let me know. But I have my Discord and I have free game, and the free game is actually right there. We had Tesla Nemesis kick in. If you don't know what Nemesis is, if you know you're not part of the Discord, that's totally fine. But it basically said we should be shorted at 445, and I did. It told me to get out at 443. I did. It generated like 63% in profit. I did. So that worked out relatively well. So just look out for some of that free game. If you want to get access to that, by all means, let me know. And if you go on Instagram, go ahead and DM me. JD_the_great on Instagram. That way I can go ahead and share this great information to you. All right, so there are a couple of other ones that kind of stood out today. Let's go ahead and check out ticker. We got Apple puts, and I don't know if y'all were around when I was kind of talking about Apple as a whole. I did have some question marks here. I did put something along the lines of this. Well, when I did my nice end of the year recap, can Apple get to $500? Very, very possible. But I think a yearly retracement back over here to like 228, 240, 250 maybe. It would be a good, nice retracement, allowing for it to pull back heavy enough so that way people that feels like they didn't get an opportunity to play to the upside, they get that opportunity to do so. So let's go ahead and keep this going. So we got Apple pulling back. We got XOM. This one, they're saying we should be going to the upside. Let's see what. Let's get rid of these drawings. Let me get rid of some old school ones too. Bye bye. Kind of like spring cleaning my charts every so often, especially on New Year. Oops, don't want to get rid of indicators though. All right, and then I don't know if I see too much of a buy here, but you could kind of see we are trending up here. And the reason why companies like ZOM, even though oil is looking like this, like it's been on this down slide and everything else, and looks like it's never going to recover. We might get some cheaper oil before we get some higher price on oil. A lot of the reason behind that is because ZOM does other things. They're not just gas and everything else. They do have some projects that they're working on, reusable energy or renewable energy. Try to get away from the fossil fuels, which is what oil is. I want to see what they do with this level. So I would say maybe a nice little day trade to maybe a swing trade up to 126 is very possible. Entry above 121.70. Right now we're at 121.82. So keep an eye on ZOM. Let's see. Intel. With semiconductors, wars are going on, and we're trying to get deeper into AI and robotics and all that good stuff. A company like Intel is getting a lot of government subsidy. They're trying to save this company. Nice solid base over at $17. Their year kind of finished like this though, and I wasn't too much of a fan of it. And I thought we could at least try to recapture some of these wicks here. So let's see what happens when it gets to $44. I would say if you're going to play this to the upside, which is what they're suggesting, entry above 39.68. Right now we're just slightly below it. Wait for a strong close above it, and then we could play it up to $44. If you do it as a day trade, minus the target a little bit. If you're doing it as a swing trade, that probably will be relatively solid. Yep. All right, so let's keep this going. I got I already did the Tesla one, broke that down for y'all. NEM. Now NEM is one of the ones that can be very annoying because it is driven by gold, but when it moves, right? This one kind of did something a little funky. Let me come down to a 15-minute. Let me bring Pac-Man in so I can see what I'm talking about. Pac-Man got him light. That's my personal indicator. Get rid of extended hours. Let's look at this. Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, they're being jerks about it. So we had a nice little gap up here, and that's part of the play here. And they reestablished, and we try to play it similar to something like that here, and didn't hold its entry. And now we were relatively shorting over here, so that'll be that one. And our entry was right there, but the price is so compressed, like the range is tight, that even though you probably would have got a good 15 to 20% points on this one or something along the lines, it just depends on the contract. That's annoying. Way too tight. We're compressed. Leave it alone for a little bit. We'll probably find some better setups here. Gotta be worth the risk, at least. Amazon. Let's look at Amazon. Now, Amazon here is going to be one of my bigger question marks. When I mean bigger question marks, I'm talking about extremely big. If you don't know, yeah, and they got right to TP1. That was a good trade too. Just shorted everything in the market. Just joking. But if you look at Amazon from this standpoint here, right? Amazon is really, really like, it's kind of like doing what would be a parallel channel, kind of like this. Like that. And right now it's trying to break out of it right here with a bit of a blow off top. If I come over to a 3 month, you'll see it more like a blow off top. 6 month, it looks like that. Doesn't look cute. This is the yearly. It's a big old doji for the most part. That's how I kind of see it, like that. So yeah, there's some question marks that I have on the Amazon. I would love to short it, and they are suggesting to play it to the downside. A good strong close position below that 229. Wait for the retracement. Do not chase the cat. The cat will scratch back. I promise you it will. See if we can get a nice little entry under the 230, 229 level. And that should give us a little continuation to get the TP2. You can kind of see the reset of the oscillator is in effect. 30-minute looks like this. Also, 2-hour looks like this. Also, daily looks like this starting. But there needs some retracement to allow that to happen. I think we could get easily to 223, but yeah, you might get a little trouble. Especially that it looked like a morning star, but just with a red candle, which is weird. But they did not want to give this gap. Do we take the gap with 220? I think 220 puts is not a bad idea. Get yourself some time and find an entry that is solid, like closer to that 229. What time is it? Oh, it's already 11 minutes. I got to speed this up. No, we won't do that. NVIDIA. Let's talk about NVIDIA. NVIDIA is one that is super juiced, right? And I think there's a profit taking that's being done over here after we got to like 212. There was an alert on NVIDIA, and it was saying shorted at 188, and you could kind of see we kind of did a little bit of a bounce. And it looks like we're not holding at 188. So what did this say to get out? It got out with the gap up at 192, which makes a lot of sense. That's why I didn't want to carry anything throughout this Christmas and New Year's, because it felt very baity. Like they were trying to trap a lot of bears in. And kind of sat back. I allowed them to do their thing, and I'm at peace with it. But yeah, I would say if anything, NVIDIA now, where it is, makes me question what its goal is overall. But if we look at it from a 15-minute, let's just say this is going to be the trade to kind of play with, right? It needs to hold this level here. Could give you a solid entry at 191, because even though we spiked to 192, you can see that they, basically rocket ship that thing right back down. Go for like some $200 call, 195 calls, and then see if we can get to 196, but it needs to close above 191.63 for a safe entry. Anything under here is uncivilized, but if it does hold this channel, come on, behave. If it holds this channel, you might be able to pull off something like a move like this, where it kind of just dances until it gets to 191, let it hold, and then you just accumulate from there. Very, very interesting ticker. What time is it? All right, I'll give y'all two more. Let's get into the swing trades. Those are my scalps. No. Yeah, let's do this one. Intuit. If you don't know who they are, Intuit is the company that gives you QuickBooks and TurboTax. It is getting closer to tax season. So find yourself a really, really good tax preparer and everything else. Intuit was a sale right at that level, right there, something like that. So actually, I think this is done for the most part, right? It was triggering for us to sell back here. When was this? This was the 29th. Yeah, right at that point. Build. At the end of the day, it closed down. TP1's right there. TP2 did something violent. Look at that drop. Jeez. This thing lost $33 in less than 2 hours. So I do love my indicator and my strategies, because those things really key off on potential extensions like that. So that said, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and the bell button. Share it to your friends and family. I will send out, you know what, I'll do something special. If you comment, I streamed Trading Journal, right? Go to your YouTube Music, go to your Apple Music, Pandora, all of that. It's everywhere. I'm very proud of it. If you say, I have streamed that video, I'll give you free 14-day access to my trading channel, which allows for you to see everything that I am trading. And I'm also scalping along the way. And some of the tickers are your favorite ones, like your Microsoft, your Costco's, and all that stuff. So if you want to give that a try, by all means, just put in the comment, I got my trading journal done. All right? Put that in the comments, and I will send you free access to Compound Central Command for 14 days. All right? That said, thank you for participating. I appreciate y'all for chiming in with me. A lot of the stuff I do, if it wasn't for y'all, I probably wouldn't do it. So I thank you, and on to a great and wonderful 2026 for you and yours. You have a great day. Bye-bye.